In my previous life, I was the first to discover my father-in-law's injury and immediately called an ambulance to rush him to the hospital. Before the surgery could proceed, a signature from an immediate family member was required. However, when I contacted my husband to come to the hospital to sign, he dismissed it as me being jealous. He was with his first love, convinced that everything was just an excuse to call him back, and stubbornly refused to come to the hospital to sign. In the end, my father-in-law passed away due to the delay in treatment. My husband, who never got to see his father one last time, blamed me for everything. Taking advantage of my distraction, he hacked me to death with a kitchen knife, snarling, "It's all your fault. My father was so old, yet as his daughter-in-law you failed to take care of him. If you couldn't fulfill your filial duties while he was alive, then just die, go to the underworld and continue serving him as you should have." When I opened my eyes, I found myself back on the very day my father-in-law collapsed. Blinking again, I saw him lying on the ground. I've had severe hemophobia since childhood, and instinctively, I reached for my phone to call my husband. As I unlocked it, the memory of my previous life, being butchered by his cleaver, flashed relentlessly in my mind. The phantom pain lingered, making my fingers freeze. Suppressing the urge to call him, I instead dialed his cousin, the lecturer. The call connected almost instantly. "Hurry back. Dad fell. His head is bleeding so much. What do I do? You know I've always fainted at the sight of blood. Please come home now." I feigned panic, my voice trembling with tears. Then, pretending to have dialed the wrong number, I gasped, "Oh no, I meant to call Jiang Yiming." The cousin replied calmly, "Don't panic, I'm on my way." His place was nearby, less than a 10-minute walk. True enough, within 5 minutes, there was a knock at the door. I rushed to open it in fake surprise upon seeing him. "Brother, wasn't I calling Jiang Yiming?" Without explanation, he scooped up my father-in-law and dashed downstairs, barking at me to follow. By the time we reached the hospital, the blood had already soaked through his cousin's shirt. "Who's the patient?" "Immediate family, the situation is critical. We need a signature." A nurse burst out of there, urgency sharp in her tone. In her hand was the critical condition notice. "I'm his daughter-in-law, is that not enough?" "No, it must be an immediate relative." Her gaze shifted to the cousin. "I'm his nephew," he explained. The nurse frowned. "Where are the rest of his family members?" "Just proceed with the surgery, I'll contact the immediate family." The nurse relented, clutching the notice as she hurried back into the ER. Right in front of my cousin, I took out my phone and called my husband. The first call was abruptly hung up, and the second call met the same fate. Finally, the third call got connected. I activated the speakerphone, and Jiang Yiming's impatient voice filled the entire corridor. "Are you done yet? Are you trying to drive me crazy with all these calls? Honey, Dad just took a fall and bled a great deal. A direct relative's signature is urgently needed. Come to Hepping Hospital without delay." He was as cold as ever, just like in my previous life. The image of him attacking me with a kitchen knife in my previous life flashed in my mind, and my gaze turned icy in an instant. But I had to keep up the pretense. Upon hearing this, Jiang Yiming on the other end of the line roared at me. "Dad fell? Then take him to the hospital. What's the point of calling me? I'm not a doctor. You know I'm with Ollie. Are you just being jealous and making this call on purpose? I'm telling you it's useless. Are you such a weakling that you can't live without me?" Right after that, a gentle female voice with a sob came from the other side of the phone. "Ming, I'm so scared." Before I could utter a word, he hung up the phone. People around looked at me with sympathetic eyes. I clenched my fists so tightly that my fingertips turned white, and I gave a bitter smile. My cousin was seething with anger. He paced back and forth in front of the ward with his hands on his hips and resolutely said, "Keep calling. I don't believe that a woman could be more important than his own father." It was the same in my previous life. The only difference was that last time, I secretly made the call in the stairwell. But this time, all the people present were my witnesses. After hearing what my cousin said, I dialed my husband's number again right in front of everyone. Unexpectedly, the phone was hung up after only 2 rings. When I tried to call back, I found that I had been blocked. On the surface, I looked anxiously worried, and tears streamed down my face helplessly. In reality, I heaved a huge sigh of relief and slumped onto the chair in the corridor. My cousin ruffled his hair, let out a curse, and then took out his own phone, his fingers trembling as he made a call to Jiang Yiming. I quickly looked up at him with gratitude in my eyes. The phone was connected very soon, and the moment it was, my cousin said sternly, "Jiang Yiming, I don't care where you are or what you're doing. Get to Hepping Hospital right this instant." The voice on the other end was rather noisy, as if he was in a crowded place. "Brother, that woman Leah is really something. She even dragged you into her act. That stupid Leah. It's bad enough that she's making a fuss. Why are you joining in? I'm really busy here and don't have the time to mess around with you. Every time I come to Ali's place she always pulls this stunt, trying to make me go back with all sorts of excuses. She even dragged you into her act this time. Can't she be more independent? I have other things to attend to, so I'm hanging up." Just as Jiangqi was about to speak, the other side hung up the phone without any hesitation. Jiangqi stared at the phone that had been hung up and kept dialing Jiang Yiming's number one after another. However, all that came from the other end was the cold mechanical voice. Jiangqi's emotions transformed from initial fury to powerlessness, and finally to disappointment. In the end, Jiang Yiming even blocked Jiangqi's number. Jiangqi could no longer contain his anger and cursed vehemently at the busy mechanical tone. I wept silently, covering my face with both hands. In fact, I was afraid that I couldn't control the smile at the corner of my mouth. The nurse at the nurse's station side and looking helpless, handed me her phone. "Use my phone to call. A life is at stake." I took the phone and looked at her gratefully. After the call was dialed it was connected soon. But as soon as Jiang Yiming heard my voice, he gritted his teeth and started cursing. "What the hell do you want? If you want to die, go die by yourself, okay? Can't you live without me? I feel sick just hearing your voice now. We'll get a divorce when I get back. I really can't stand you anymore." Then he hung up the phone directly. The people who had sympathized with me just now were now filled with anger. What's the use of raising a son? His own father is critically ill, and the son is still with his mistress. He really shames men. Damn it, what a jerk. When a person suffers great grievances, as long as no one sees, they will swallow their pride. But as long as someone shows a little concern at this time, they really can't hold back. Tears overflowed from my eyes, and the corners of my mouth involuntarily drooped. I raised my hand and wiped my face haphazardly. A woman who had been watching the whole process beside me handed me a tissue and a business card. I took a closer look. It was Wen Qin, a divorce lawyer. I took the tissue, wiped my tears, and quietly put the business card into my pocket. I don't know how long I waited. Finally, the light in the operating room went out. The doctor came out of the operating room, took off his mask wearily, and shook his head at me and the lecturer helplessly. The old man is too old, and the blood loss was severe. Alas, we've done our best. After that, he didn't say anything more and walked straight past us. Ordinarily, the public funeral should be presided over by Jiang Yiming, but Jiang Shi refused to let us contact him no matter what. That unfilial son doesn't deserve to be my uncle's son. It's a pity that my uncle loved that brute since he was a child and raised a white-eyed wolf. When Jiang Shi said this, the anger in his eyes was almost uncontrollable. Jiang Shi was considered the most learned and capable person in the Jiang family, so no one refuted what he said. Just like that, Jiang Qi and I contacted the funeral service. Just when I thought Jiang Yiming wouldn't show up, he did. Today was the day to bury my father-in-law. Everyone was about to set off together to see him off when Jiang Yiming's angry roar came from outside the door. "Linya, get out here. Who told you to do this? Now in order to trick me back, you've joined forces with everyone to deceive me, right? Fine, you're really something." The moment I saw Jiang Yiming, the fear of being on the verge of death from the previous life surged towards me strongly. I held my father-in-law's photo and trembled uncontrollably, with physiological tears streaming from the corners of my eyes. "Have you had enough? At that time we called you several times in a row. What did you say? You were with that slut and wouldn't listen to anything we said. Now you come back and act like this for whom? Get out. There's no such brute like you in our Jiang family. Get out." This was the first time I had seen Jiang Qi so angry. "Brother, what kind of magic potion did Linya give you to make you all join forces to deceive me? No, I have to ask my dad what he really thinks. He's actually cooperating with Linya in this farce." As he spoke, Jiang Yiming shouted for his father while looking around for his father's figure. Jiang Qi closed his eyes, let out a deep sigh, carefully placed his father-in-law's ashes on the mourning hall, walked towards Jiang Yiming, and yanked him hard in front of the ashes. "Kneel down. Weren't you looking for your uncle? This is what's inside. How ignorant and stupid are you to think that we're all in cahoots to deceive you? How arrogant are you?" Jiang Qi's emotions were a bit agitated. His sister-in-law patted his arm soothingly. Somehow, perhaps because Jiang Qi's emotions were too intense, his sister-in-law's soothing action stopped and she stiffly moved her hand away. Jiang Yiming looked at the ashes in the mourning hall and the photo of his father-in-law in my hand, then slumped to the ground, grabbed his hair with both hands and cried bitterly. Suddenly he looked up, stared at me with a vicious look in his eyes, and pounced on me like a wild beast, roaring, "It's all your fault. My dad was so old, and as a daughter-in-law you didn't take good care of him. Since you couldn't be filial when he was alive, then die. Go to the underworld and continue to fulfill your obligations as a daughter-in-law. Die, die, die." I was completely unprepared. His hands tightly choked my neck. Even though I tried my best to push him away, it was in vain. Just when I thought I was about to die, the hands that were strangling my neck loosened. I struggled to get up and gasped for air. Only then did I realize that it was Jiang Qi and another boy who had pulled Jiang Yiming away. I trembled as I wiped the tears from the corners of my eyes. Jiang Qi punched Jiang Yiming in the face. "Come to your senses." Jiang Yiming's eyes were blood-red with rage at the moment. Just as he got up and was about to fight with Jiang Qi, his phone rang. The ringtone was a recording by Han Li. Her exclusive incoming call reminder. It seemed that Jiang Yiming really loved Han Lia. Even in such an angry state, he could calm down to answer her call. "Hello? Okay, I'm coming now. Don't be afraid." After that, he hung up the phone and was about to go out. "What are you going to do? As your uncle's biological son, aren't you going to see him off for the last time?" Jiang Sure looked at Jiang Yiming in disbelief. Since you're all here, one less of me won't matter. Ali needs me now. I have to go. As he spoke, he was about to walk out. You're simply crazy. You're not allowed to go. It's fine if you didn't come back, but now that you're back, you're not allowed to go anywhere. If you dare to go, our Jiang family will never recognize you again. Are you going to break with everyone for a woman? Look clearly, the one who did her best when your father was critically ill is your wife. I don't know which words hit Jiang Yiming. He gradually slowed down, looked back at his father-in-law's urn, took out his phone, and sent a text message to Han Lin. After the funeral ceremony, Jiang Yiming knelt blankly in front of his father-in-law's tombstone, looking at the photo on the tombstone and suddenly bursting into tears. Looking at his heartbroken appearance, I felt nothing but pleasure and hatred. I didn't dare to be alone with him, so I planned to bring up the matter of divorce while everyone was around. Before I could say a word, Jiang Yiming's phone rang again. Jiang Yiming didn't answer, but the person on the other end seemed determined to achieve their goal. When the third call came, Jiang Yiming answered the phone. I don't know what the other party said, but he immediately panicked and got up to walk down the mountain. Where are you going again? Jiang Qi called out to Jiang Yiming with a displeased expression. Brother, Ali has an accident. Her son just died of a serious illness. Ali can't take the blow and is trying to commit suicide now. I have to go. Hearing this, I just thought it was ridiculous. 2 years ago, I also had a child with Jiang Yiming, but that child was ultimately not meant to be with me. He stayed in my belly for 6 months and then left. At that time I was heartbroken, but what did Jiang Yiming say? The joy on his face was uncontrollable. He told me that the child came at the wrong time and that we would have a child when the time was right. Unfortunately, at that time my eyes were blinded by my love for him, and I thought he didn't want me to be sad. Jiang Qi cast a glance back at me. Before he could say anything, Jiang Yiming had already rushed to the car and driven away. Well, perhaps it's for the best. Jiang Yiming's infatuation with Han Li has now reached the point of obsession, so it should be relatively easy for me to bring up the matter of divorce at this moment. I got in touch with Lawyer 1, who had handed me his business card at the hospital, and asked him to draw up a divorce agreement for me. However, what I never expected was that Han Li had died. I learned about this while scrolling through short video apps later. The person who was holding Han Li's body and weeping bitterly in the video was none other than Jiang Yiming, and the video was posted on the very day my father-in-law was buried, the day Jiang Yiming left early. I anxiously scoured through all the comment sections and finally learned the details of the incident. The person who broke the news claimed to be a nurse at the hospital. She said that Han Li's child, who was less than 1 year old, had died of illness. Unable to bear the blow, Han Li had jumped off the hospital rooftop. Jiang Yiming had rushed over in a hurry, but happened to witness Han Li jumping from the building, which had deeply traumatized him. In the comment section, people were singing praises of Jiang Yiming and Han Li's love. Wow, this man looks so affectionate. When can I have such a relationship? Well, go ahead and try. You'll end up disappointed. My goodness, this man seems to be so in love. The pure love warrior has fallen. Oh, of course he loves her. He even neglected his critically ill father for Han Li and left before his own father's funeral was over just for her. But this woman is too selfish. She could have another child after losing this one. She actually left such a man who loved her so much for a child who was less than 1 year old. So annoying. Little brother, don't be sad. There are plenty of good women out there. Looking at these comments that completely lacked a sense of values, I helplessly exited the app. Now I was only worried about one thing. Jiang Yiming hated me so much. I was afraid that in the end, he would blame Han Li's death on me without understanding the situation. I didn't want to die a second time for no reason. I also didn't know if I would have a third chance to start over, so I had to make thorough plans. I made an appointment with Lawyer 1 to meet at a coffee shop at 3 p.m. I was a few minutes late due to traffic. By the time I arrived, Lawyer 1 was already there. He was sitting in a chair, sipping coffee and working. It was nice. I had once dreamed of being a career woman, but 2 years ago when I was pregnant, Jiang Yiming persuaded me to quit my job and take good care of the fetus at home. Even after the child was lost and I wanted to go back to work, he always vetoed it, asking me to focus on taking care of my father-in-law at home. Lawyer 1 seemed to be engrossed in something. He didn't even notice me approaching. What are you looking at? Oh, you're here. I'm watching a very popular video recently. A man is crying bitterly while holding his wife who has just lost their child. It seems a bit familiar. The one who jumped off the building in the hospital? I forced a bitter smile. That man is my husband, Jiang Yiming. Lawyer 1 was stunned. Then, as if suddenly realizing something, he shook his head and smiled. Really? I saw someone in the comment section confirm that they're not husband and wife at all. The man has a wife, and he even neglected his critically ill father for this woman. I thought it looked familiar when I saw it. I didn't expect it to be your husband. My request was simple. I just wanted to get divorced smoothly. I just wanted a divorce. I didn't want to provoke him or put myself in a desperate situation for a little money. That was all. Lawyer 1 didn't ask any more questions. After drawing up the divorce agreement, he sent it to me. When I got home, I took out my phone and watched that video again. The last time I watched it, there were all positive comments. Now the public opinion had suddenly changed. Last time I saw that everyone had a high opinion of this man, so I didn't have the heart to say it. In fact, this man doesn't look very good-natured. He's heartless and ungrateful. Can a master help me analyze his face? Analyzing faces reveals the secrets of heaven. I only said it because I saw everyone praising this man and didn't want everyone to be deceived. But it's really not suitable to talk about it recently. Please leave me alone. Where are those who said they were pure love warriors? Why aren't they speaking up? I know that at that time, His wife came to the hospital with a man to send his father-in-law, but it shouldn't be an improper relationship. I even lent my phone to his wife at that time. Damn it, the way that man talked to his wife was really harsh. My phone has automatic call recording. If you don't believe it, you can go to my homepage to see. Yes, I can testify. I was there last time too. There were quite a lot of people at that time. I heard his husband call the person who came with his wife brother to— Yes, now that you mention it I remember. Poor thing, she took good care of her father-in-law wholeheartedly, giving her husband time to fool around. What a pity. Everyone be kind. No matter how bad that woman was, she's dead now. The dead should be respected. Bah, what's the use of such a good-for-nothing? In the comment section, many people even dug up Jiang Yiming's personal information, and even jointly demanded that Jiang Yiming's company fire him. Scrolling further down, there was a video of Jiang Yiming packing his things and leaving the company. He was completely different from the arrogant him a few days ago. In the video, he was decadent, lifeless, and had no manners. When he saw someone filming him, he rushed up to knock the phone out of their hand and even resorted to violence. Someone called the police. At the end of the video, Jiang Yiming was taken away by the police in a sorry state. I went to a random photo studio downstairs to print out the divorce agreement. Just as I was about to go back, I received a call from the police, asking me to go to the police station to pay a fine and negotiate compensation matters. I could leave after signing. I didn't want to go at first, but then I thought that this was the best time to bring up the divorce at the police station. I didn't dare to talk to him about this when we were alone. When I arrived at the police station, Jiang Yiming was sitting on an iron chair in the police station. When he saw me coming, he uncomfortably avoided my gaze. After paying the fine and compensating the other party 30,000 yuan, Jiang Yiming grabbed his coat from the chair, looked at me viciously, and said through gritted teeth, "My eldest brother was too busy to come, otherwise I would never have called you." Looking at this man who disgusted me, I took a deep breath. "Jiang Yiming, let's get a divorce." He was just about to walk out of the door. When he heard my words, he turned around and looked at me in disbelief. "Are you sure?" "I'm sure." But he seemed to have heard the most ridiculous joke and looked at me with contempt. "At first, you were the one who was desperate to marry me. What kind of act are you putting on now?" He walked towards me slowly step by step. The fear of him came from my subconscious. Even though I had mentally prepared myself to confront him, my body still trembled with fear. I took a step back. "I don't agree." He leaned his head close to my ear and whispered, "I haven't avenged Ali yet. If you hadn't insisted on making me come back that day, Ali wouldn't have had an accident, and I wouldn't have ended up with nothing." To outsiders, it looked as if he was bending over to hug me. After that, he smiled and straightened my collar for me. "Because I love you, wife." He said this in front of everyone. "You love me? You call it love when you stay with another woman while your father-in-law is critically ill? You call it love when you attack me at your father's funeral and even tell me to die? You call it love when you leave during your father's funeral to look for another woman?" As I spoke, I took out my phone and played the call recording in my hand. The people around gasped in surprise and all looked at Jiang Yiming. He stared at me with icy eyes. This time I had to save myself. I had to get rid of him. In the end, Jiang Yiming still agreed to the divorce. But a 30-day cooling-off period was required for the divorce. I still remember that Jiang Yiming looked at me with a smile and said, "Wife, there's still a 30-day cooling-off period. I think you'll definitely change your mind." I fled in a hurry, wanting to go home and pack my important documents and change of clothes while he was away. "Where are you going, wife?" Jiang Yiming casually hung his coat on the floor standing hanger and with a smile, walked step by step towards me, like a bloodthirsty Shura crawling out of hell. I secretly groped in my bag for the wolf repellent spray I had bought long ago for self-defense. "Jiang Yiming, after all, we were husband and wife once. I don't want to have a falling out with you. I want a divorce because you don't love me. I'm even willing to leave the marriage with nothing. I don't want to provoke you. Provoking you at this moment is of no benefit to me at all. You choose to leave with nothing. Isn't it because you feel indebted to me? You killed Ali. Do you still have the nerve to ask for anything else?" He looked at me viciously. I really couldn't figure out how a person's values could be so distorted. From beginning to end, I had never met Han Li, never spoken to her. Now that she's dead, and you can't find an outlet for your anger, so you say I killed her. Isn't that too far-fetched? No, it's all your fault. If it weren't for you, I wouldn't have separated from Ali. If it weren't for you insisting that I come back, I would have been there when Ali had the accident, and she wouldn't have died. Everything is because of you. You killed my father and you killed Ali. Now you want to leave? No way. His facial expression was distorted, and he had lost the normal thinking ability and values that a person should have. Now, go down and accompany them to atone for your sins. He somehow took out a dagger from somewhere and with his eyes wide open walked towards me. "Open the door, Jiang Yiming." Just as I was thinking about how to get out of this predicament, someone knocked on the door. It was Jiang Shi. I really wanted to rush over and open the door, but I didn't dare. Jiang Yiming was so close to the door. I was afraid that if I rushed over before opening the door, I would put myself in danger first. "Jiang Yiming, I know you're in there. If you don't open the door, I'll call the police." Jiang Yiming had always respected Jiang Qi, but at this moment upon hearing Jiang Qi's words, there was a murderous intent in his eyes. Jiang Yiming looked at me and took a deep breath. "When did you and Jiang Qi get together?" "Humph, just because I don't love you and don't touch you now. You're so cheap that you can't wait to climb into my elder brother's bed. Linya, you're a slut." "Jiang Yiming, don't assume that everyone is like you just because of what you are. Jiang Qi and I have a clean relationship. I don't even interact with him much usually. Don't throw dirt at me." Jiangqi, you call him so affectionately, and you still say you have nothing going on? Then why were you and him the ones who took my father to the hospital that day? He was on your side everywhere that day, and look at how anxious he is now. You say you have nothing going on. Do you think anyone will believe it? After saying that, he strode towards me. Just as he was about to lay a hand on me, I took out the wolf repellent spray and sprayed it hard in his face. He covered his face in pain and howled. I took the opportunity to bypass him and run towards the door. Jiangqi was holding his phone, as if he was calling the police. When he saw me come out, he reached out to support me. I could smell a strong smell of alcohol on him. Jiang Yiming wants to kill me. He's crazy. It's okay. I just called the police. The police should be here soon. My heart, which had been hanging, finally relaxed a little. Then I saw Jiang Yiming with red eyes and a dagger in his hand, walking towards us. But at this moment Jiang Shi didn't notice at all. Get out of the way. He has a knife. Although Jiang Qi reacted quickly enough, he was still stabbed by Jiang Yiming. Blood slowly flowed out from his lower abdomen. Jiang Yiming looked at him with a smile and then viciously stirred the dagger in Jiang Qi's lower abdomen a few times before pulling the dagger out. Because the sound was not small, the neighbors all stuck their heads out. At first, everyone thought it was just a fight and were about to come out to mediate. But when they saw the blood-dripping dagger in Jiang Yiming's hand, they each shrank back into their rooms. The sound of the dagger being pulled out of the flesh was extremely harsh. Jiang Yiming was still not satisfied and raised his hand to give Jiang Shi a fatal blow. I took the wolf repellent spray and wanted to spray Jiang Yiming again. This time he didn't give me a chance. He grabbed the hand holding the wolf repellent spray and smashed it hard against the door. I felt the pain but didn't dare to let go. When Jiang Yiming saw that I didn't let go, he stabbed the dagger hard into my wrist. I closed my eyes and tried to break free from Jiang Yiming's restraint. At the critical moment, Jiang Qi reached out to stop Jiang Yiming. Jiang Qi forcefully turned the position of the dagger. I seized the opportunity and sprayed the wolf repellent spray in my hand at Jiang Yiming until the spray was used up. The so-called wolf repellent spray was actually self-made and enhanced pepper spray that I saw online. Jiang Yiming let go, covered his eyes and screamed in pain. I let out a sigh of relief but saw Jiang Shi holding the dagger and stabbing Jiang Yiming hard, one stab after another. But Jiang Yiming clearly had no ability to resist anymore. I was stunned for a moment, not knowing whether Jiang Shi was venting his anger or had lost his mind. I don't know how many times Jiang Yiming was stabbed. In the end, he looked at Jiang Shi in disbelief and slowly fell. Jiang Yiming's white shirt had already been dyed red with blood. When Jiang Shi saw Jiang Yiming lying on the ground with no vital signs, he panicked and threw away the dagger. He held the wound on his lower abdomen and hurriedly ran towards the elevator. But unexpectedly, the moment the elevator opened, several policemen came out and pinned him to the ground. Let me go, let me go. I'm not guilty. I was acting in self-defense. Yes, I was acting in self-defense. He wanted to kill me. I was acting in self-defense. Let me go. The police stepped forward to check Jiang Qi's condition and found that he still had a faint pulse and breath. They quickly called an ambulance. The ambulance arrived soon and took Jiang Yiming and Jiang Qi to the hospital respectively. As one of the parties involved, I was called to the police station by the police to understand the situation. I didn't kill anyone. I just used self-made pepper spray for self-defense, and there were no fingerprints of mine on the dagger. Coupled with the testimony of the neighbors, I could leave soon. Jiang Yiming died on the way to the hospital due to severe injuries, and Jiang Shi, after Jiang Yiming had no ability to resist, stabbed him several more times, resulting in Jiang Yiming's severe injuries and death before he could be treated. This was considered excessive self-defense, and he was sentenced to 10 years and 3 months in prison. As Jiang Yiming's immediate family member, I held a simple funeral for him. Standing in front of Jiang Yiming's tombstone, looking at his photo, I felt an unprecedented sense of relaxation. When I was about to leave, I saw my sister-in-law, that is Jiang Shi's wife. She got out of a black car. Through the crack of the car window, I saw the man sitting in the driver's seat. He had a delicate appearance and his eyes were full of my sister-in-law. I was a little surprised, but in the end I didn't say anything. My sister-in-law was wearing sunglasses and a black coat. She presented a bunch of chrysanthemums to Jiang Yiming. I saved you. She stood in front of Jiang Yiming's tombstone, looking straight at the tombstone. I wasn't sure if she was talking to me. What? She turned around and looked at me. I said I saved you. That day, I told Jiang Qi that Jiang Yiming had gone back in a rage. I was confused. Even if that was the case, what did it mean? You all always thought that Jiang Qi was a learned and noble man, right? But in fact, he's more despicable than anyone else in his bones. As she spoke, she took off her coat, revealing old and new scars on her body. It could be seen that the owner of the body had endured physical pain for many years. At first, I was like you, thinking that he was a noble man, a loyal and affectionate person. But less than a month after we got married, I found out that he was cheating, having affairs, and keeping young and naive college students. When I found out, he first knelt down and begged for my forgiveness. Later, when I found out again, I knew that his nature was bad. So I proposed a divorce. He didn't agree and even hit me. During our marriage, whenever he was unhappy, he would hit me. He wouldn't let me work and cut off all my social interactions. I thought about calling the police, but the police always closed the case as a family dispute. I thought about running away, but I was always found. Every time I was found, I was severely beaten. Until 3 years ago, you appeared. Jiang Qi looked at you with desire in his eyes. I originally thought he would hook up with you, but I didn't expect him to be so patient this time. I originally thought that if things really got bad, I would do it myself. But that day you called him. You don't know, do you? That day he was hitting me. After answering your call, he left in a hurry. He knew that your relationship with Jiang Yiming was bad. When he came back that day, he was very excited and even took your photo and stayed in the bathroom for an hour. I was outside and vaguely heard him calling your name. Do you know how disgusted I was? That day, he got drunk at a business dinner. I told him that I saw Jiang Yiming going back in a rage, muttering something about going to be buried with someone. As soon as he heard that, he really went out. Neither Jiang Yiming nor Jiang Qi disappointed me. They killed each other. It's like dogs biting dogs. Do you think this counts as me saving you? Otherwise, you would have been the one who died that day. After that, my sister-in-law disappeared from everyone's sight. And I sold the house at home, took the inheritance left by my father-in-law and the community property, and also left this place. After surviving the disaster, I cherished time even more. I decided to save half of the money and use the other half to splurge. I had never dared to be so extravagant before. 2 years later, I came to Yunnan for a trip. In a popular bar, I met my sister-in-law who had disappeared for a long time. She had changed a lot. I almost didn't recognize her. Beside her was the man in the driver's seat 2 years ago. Neither of us greeted each other. We each disappeared into the crowd, heading towards the life we wanted. Today the sun is shining brightly and I'm doing well.